Oh, there he is. What's happening, mate? How's it going?
Not bad, how are you?
You mind if I take a video?
Yes.
How's it going, everybody? Jim here, Scottish guy in Dennistoun, not Moscow. I'm back home for 2 weeks. I'm making some videos for you. And today I'm going to show you my Glasgow neighbourhood. Time magazine called it the 8th coolest neighbourhood in the whole world. Well, I don't know if I agree, but how about I show you around and you can judge for yourself. Are you ready to check out my neighbourhood, Dennistoun in Glasgow? Let's go. Guys, just before the tour starts, could you please hit subscribe? It'll just take you a second, but it will really help me out. It means YouTube will push my videos to new viewers and I'll keep making videos for you. Hit subscribe, let's get on with the tour. Alright guys, as we stand here on Anbank Street, next to the Visit Dennistoun mural, outside Redmond's bar, we look ahead onto the longest street in the UK. Can you believe it? The longest street in the UK is right here in my neighbourhood. It's called Duke Street and it runs that way down to the city centre. We're about 1 mile east of the city centre, and if we drive that way, also you will go past the Tennent's factory, which I will show you at some point. The Tennent's factory is Tennent's lager. You've probably heard of it. If you're an alcoholic, you've probably heard of Tennent's super strength lager that people like to drink at a low cost. Well, it gets brewed right down there behind us. So here we go, we're on to Duke Street, and let me give you a little bit of my history with Dennistoun. First time I lived here was about 2007. Since then, without staying here consistently, I've rented a few places here, I've owned a few places here, and I still have one apartment that I've got here now. It's rented out just now, somebody is living in it, so I can't take you inside it, but I'll take you down the street. And the street that it's on, I'm not the only celebrity. Obviously I'm a big YouTube celebrity these days. I'm not the only celebrity that's lived there, so I will show you where another well-known person from the world of show business, just like me, used to live. Okay, first of all, we got Sword Street. Now Sword Street is the first street that I lived on in Dennistoun. I stayed just right down at the end there. I don't think I'm going to show you all the way down because I've got so much to get through. Used to be a little shop. This hairdresser's used to be called Billy's Carver. It was a Greek guy that made like rolls and sausage, things like that. And that's where I used to go when I'd been out all night. I'd come in, see Billy, he'd make me a couple of rolls and sausage. Now you'll notice here, anyone who's not from Scotland, the design of the apartments here are all across Glasgow. They're called tenements. Usually what will happen is you'll have some sort of commercial on the bottom end, and then they'll go up sort of 3 to 4 floors. They'll have a thing called a close, which is basically like your entranceway. There's no concierge or elevators or anything like that. You'll have the closed door, you'll go in, it's locked as I thought, you'll go in and there'll be a flat on either side of the stairwell. And check out the red sandstone that they're built from. They're either built from red sandstone or blonde sandstone, and I'm going to explain a little bit more why that is in a moment. But this is Sword Street. This is my first time living in Dennistoun. We're going to go back onto Duke Street. We're going to walk along. We're going to see what we can see. Maybe we'll bump into some people that I know. So looking straight ahead, we go up this hill to Alexandra Parade. Dennistoun pretty much roughly runs from Duke Street, Alexandra Parade and everything in between, but I don't know if I'm going to take you up there. It depends on how much time's passing. Now, historically, Dennistoun's been somewhat of a working class to more low income neighbourhood, but recently, probably in the last 10 years or so, it suddenly became quite a trendy place to live. Lots and lots of different vintage shops, coffee places, cafes, restaurants opened up, just like you get in a lot of cities across the world, especially in America, even in London as well, where you have this sort of lower income neighbourhood that's quite close to the city centre. Look, for example, here we've got what looks like some sort of cool clothing shop. Death and Glory. Now this definitely wasn't here when I lived here. This is a new one. Is it a vintage shop or is it? I don't think so. Now another thing that's here, we seem to have lots and lots of barbers as well. But I want to show you, look, Nim's Thai massage. That's where I used to go for a massage, where I'd wreck my back constantly. A couple of little Thai ladies in there would sort you out. We've got, what else have we got? A lot of new, I'm going to take you in to one of my mates. One of my mates owns a coffee shop, so here's another little cool coffee shop here. But one of my mates, Fergie, he owns a coffee shop up the other end round the corner. I'm going to take you in. Hopefully we'll meet him. He's a bit of a character, so hopefully he's working today and we'll show you around a little bit. Check out Liquor City. Now Liquor City is where you go if you want a drink, and it's still the east end of Glasgow, so you'll notice that in Liquor City all the cashier, all the drinks, check it out behind. Coming out, mate? Cheers. Are behind some glass. It's probably bulletproof, who knows. Right, Koya's Cafe. Koya's Cafe is a famous cafe here, established, run across the road because we're not in Russia, we can cross the road wherever we want. 1928. Very, very famous, this cafe here. A little bit expensive, I'll be honest. It is a little bit expensive, and I mean, I think it's pretty normal, the food. I don't think it's amazing, but it's a nice cafe nonetheless. It's a very famous cafe here in Dennistoun. Look, people are hanging out. It's actually just got a little bit cold, but well, this restaurant over here is called the Lovable Rogue. Apparently it's really nice. Let's go and have a look at it. This is another one that popped up, new. Now I will take you up here in a moment. This is called the Drives. These flats here are all the sort of, I suppose it's the more desirable streets to live on. Again, everybody lives in these tenements. Alright, let me check this out. Can you see how you've got the red sandstone and you've got the blonde sandstone? I'm going to give you some facts about the red sandstone and the blonde sandstone. Alright guys, so here you've got red sandstone going up there, that side blonde. You might think, well, it's just what they decided to build it in, but the lighter coloured sandstone, which is the blonde sandstone like this one here, was primarily quarried locally in and around Glasgow, particularly from Bishopbriggs, Giffnock, before 1890. Now, why did they turn to the red sandstone? Well, the red sandstone, after the development of the railway network, it allowed for importation of red sandstone from quarries in Ayrshire and Dennistoun, which is places in Scotland that's a little bit further away. The red sandstone was often preferred for its perceived durability and was used in later construction. So the red sandstone was perceived to be more durable, and it wasn't available until the advent of the railway. So we got a pawnbrokers here. If you're a bit short on cash, you can cash in your valuables, your bracelets and stuff like that, and you can pawn it. You can also buy euros. Can we buy Russian rubles? Unlikely. Okay, right. Easy Grocery Limited. Which flag's that? I'm not too sure which flag that is, but for what I remember, the guy that works in it's pretty cool. But we're about to cross this road and check out my street, where I've still got, you can't really say an apartment once you're back in Scotland, we've still got a flat. So check out this pub called the Pally. My friend actually owns this. Well, he did the last time I spoke to him, which was a couple of years ago. It's called the Pally. It's a pretty cool little pub, and it was right next to my flat. So let's take a walk down good old Garfield Street, not named after the cat, I don't think, and check out where I've still got an apartment. Now, again, I can't show you inside it because someone lives there. Can't rock up. Unlike Russia, when you're a landlord, you can't just rock up anytime you feel like it. There is laws against that. If someone's renting the flat from you, you can't just arrive unannounced. But give you a little bit of, just to sort of, for you to understand what it would cost to live here. I bought this place. It's 2 bedrooms, one lit, so it's got a living room, kitchen, 2 bedrooms, bathroom obviously. I bought this under the home report value for 125,000, I think, I'd say about 4 years ago. Just did some cosmetic work like painting and carpets and stuff. I'd imagine it'd probably be worth above maybe 155 or something now. So I won't tell you exactly which one it is. I don't want my trolls coming around smashing my tenants' windows, but there you go. So it's on Garfield Street. This area, or this part of Dennistoun, is called Reedvale. It's like a housing association that look after it all. So a lot of these are owned by the housing association, and the tenants pay rent to the housing association. But like me, some people do own it. I told you that I wasn't the only celebrity from the world of show business that lived on Garfield Street. It is my understanding that number 29, close number 29, which must be up the other end, I think, 55, 49. There was a famous lady from the world of show business. Maybe you've heard, is she world famous? I think she is. Her name's Lulu. She did that song, Shout. Maybe I'll cut it in. You don't want to hear me singing it. She was married to one of the Bee Gees. She grew up here. I did check her YouTube channel, and I do have more subscribers than her, so definitely the most famous person from Garfield. There we go, 29. So she grew up on the top floor, which must be one of those. Her name's Lulu. She had a really famous song called Shout, and I don't, if you're watching this from Russia, you've probably never heard of her, but there you go. That's the two. We're the two biggest celebrities from Garfield Street and Dennistoun. Right, back onto Duke Street, let's go. Another Liquor City. Did you notice, remember we went into Liquor City down there with the bulletproof glass? Well, you only need to walk about a minute and there's another Liquor City. Obviously people like the liquor in this city. And actually I'm going to take you across the Tennent's factory that I told you about. Let's run. The Tennent's factory that I told you about. Let's check this one out as well. You got to just make your order, hand your money through, just in case nobody wants robbed in Dennistoun. Tennent's factory, there's it there. If you're not aware of Tennent's lager, very, very famous, Scotland's most famous lager. And let's keep going. There you go, the snug, proper old man's boozer in there. Here we go. I think we'll go over and see if Fergie's in. Let's go check out. He's got a little coffee place round this corner. You'll like Fergie, he's a cool guy. Check this out, if you need a bucket and spade for going to Dennistoun Beach, you can get one from that shop there. Alright guys, we're going to come round the corner to Garthland Drive and let's check out this cool little coffee shop, which is called Daily. Oh, there he is. What's happening, mate? How's it going?
Not bad, how are you?
You mind if I take a video?
Yes.
Is that alright?
It yet?
How's it going, Fergie, man? You alright?
Not bad, my guy, how are you?
Good, aye. This is my mate Fergie. God, we go back, what? 20 years, mate?
20 years. 2005.
It was, wasn't it?
100%
When you were on the last project.
That's the one.
Fergie used to be in a great band called The Last Project. Now he's got this place. How's business in Dennistoun?
Good, mate. Busy. Really busy, mate. Aye, really good.
It's looking nice. I'll have a wee look about.
Aye, of course.
Can I get a flat white, please, mate?
Of course you can, mate.
Cheers, man. Brilliant,
Busy
man.
today, don't have much left, but got some goodies left.
So how long you had this place now?
Nearly 3 years, Jim. Opened it up in 2022, so it'll be 3 years this November.
And it's just
really busy, mate. Strength to strength, mate. Aye.
good for you,
My
mate.
whole family came from Dennistoun, and this is where I wanted to open my shop when I come back to America. So
Is that right? Your mum and dad came
no,
to
my
Dennistoun?
dad's from here, but my other granny, my mum's mum, lived here.
Right.
She wasn't from here, but she had a flat here.
Right.
And my cousins lived in the same close. It's actually the close we used to party in, Clare's Close. That was it.
Craig Park Drive.
It wasn't Craig Park, just Craig Park.
Just Craig Park, innit?
Next to the snooker.
Aye,
Clare's
so-
flat, that was my granny's close and my cousin's close.
I still remember some dafty tried to open the window out the way instead up the way and he pushed the pane of glass right out.
That's it. There we go, my guy.
Right guys, one of the reasons I want to take, not just because it's a great coffee shop, but Fergie's actually a really interesting guy. He's been sober now for about 9 years, and you know, you've had a really interesting story, but how's all that going? How's it impacted your life, like giving up the drugs and alcohol?
I think with somebody who drank and took drugs the way that I did for such a long period, as you know yourself, the music, the band, the stuff you were involved with. Jim was our manager in the band, and we played loads of really good gigs supporting the Arctic Monkeys and Baby Shambles and stuff. It was part of the lifestyle.
Yep.
And it was fun for a long time. But the problem of being an alcoholic like myself is that I don't know how to stop drinking when I start, and when I stop I can't stay stopped. And progressively from being 15, 16 drinking, it got worse and worse and worse, where it was almost like it was killing me and it was ruining my life. So I got sober 8.5 years ago. I'll be 9 years sober January, a day at a time. It's been the greatest thing I've ever done. Like, people always, when I talk about the coffee shop, I say the coffee shop's the second greatest thing I've ever done, and the only reason it's the second greatest thing is because I could only do it for the first greatest thing that I've done, and that was getting sober. You know, like, without sobriety my life's nothing. You know, it's single-handedly the greatest thing I've ever done, Jim.
And as well as keeping you sober and on the straight and narrow, like, do you feel like the programme's sort of built a framework in how to live, how to be with people, how to be honest?
I would argue that anybody should be doing a 12-step programme, because the problem is, you know, this alcoholic, selfish and self-centred to the core, and then you get to do this programme and it's about helping others. You know, it's like not being selfish, being selfless, you know, and reaching out for other people. And I do that every day, whether it's just making somebody a coffee or chatting to them, and you try and carry that message in your life and out your life, you know.
Well, I mean, obviously, take this as a compliment. Obviously, I knew you back then and I know you now, and like, what a difference in like how you are.
I was a bit of a dickhead when I had a drink in me, but it's not like that today.
But that's it. But you hear a lot of addicts saying it, like they wouldn't have chose that life, but they also, once they get sober, they wouldn't change it because.
Correct. I'm a grateful alcoholic. Yeah, I totally understand what that means now. It's like, you know, I had that life and there was a lot of fun in there, but it stopped being fun. You know, and people that don't drink alcoholically can go and have a glass of wine. That's not my story. You know, that's not my experience.
Well, I'm glad you made it. I'm honoured to be your pal, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Likewise,
Cheers,
Jim.
man.
One of the good guys.
Aye, right. I'm going to drink this and then we'll get on with the tour of Dennistoun. Good for my audience to meet you, Fergie.
Nice to see you.
Alright guys, it was good to see Fergie. Now, that is one thing that you do miss when you live in a country where you don't know so many people and you don't speak the language perfectly. It's just dropping in unannounced on people that you know, and you can just have a chat with them for a little while. That is one thing that I do miss. Right, I want to show you this street. Now, this is Garthland Drive, I think. I think we're on Garthland Drive. And all the drives run this way, parallel with Duke Street. So, this is pretty much how people live in a lot of areas in Glasgow. So you've got the tenements, which are 4 up. These ones don't have any commercial on the bottom. These are apartments. So you've got your blonde sandstone, red sandstone. Now, out the back of the tenement, you'll have a little area for drying clothes and a little bit of grass usually. And usually if you've got a dog or something, you'll have these little areas here where you can walk your dog. There is a big massive park in Dennistoun, but I don't think we're going to go up there today on this video. So we're going to head back down to Duke Street. I'm going to show you a few more things. Let's go. Check out this little VW camper van. That's beautiful, isn't it? Should we have a look at it? Restored really well. Got the driver's seat leather in the back. You've got the nice yellow, look at the yellow cushions as well. Beautiful. Sun's out a little bit more. Check this little trendy place out called Mesa. It's quite nice. Now, again, 10-15 years ago you would never have had these little trendy cafes. Have a look. Look, a morning roll, that's like a bacon roll, like a, I don't know what you guys call it if you're not Scottish. £4 for one roll. That's expensive. Alright, I'm going to take you along, show you a pub here that sort of tied in with the whole Catholic Protestant thing. Look, I think this place must have shut down. Dennistoun barbecue, open 8 days a week, closed. It must have shut down. What? Yes! See, this is what happens. You walk around the whole of Russia, nobody even bats an eyelid. You come to Glasgow. It's on YouTube, aye?
What's your name?
Scottish Guy in Moscow.
Follow Scottish Guy in Moscow.
Check it out. I'll show you. You want to be on it? I like your stoning.
Aye.
Cracking. Get the badge in. Right lads, see you later. See you later. So that's what happens. As soon as you put a camera on in Glasgow, attracts a bit of attention. Good lads though. Oh, I don't know what they were doing behind my back actually. I'll see it once I've watched the video back. Right, now I know some people they like to see the church, especially in my Russian videos. We get the Orthodox Church. Here you tend to have two types of churches. Church of Scotland, which will be, now I'm not a religious person, but would be Protestant, and we have Catholic churches as well. So this one here looks like a Protestant church, and I'm not going to go into all the details, especially in Glasgow. It's a sore subject in the west of Scotland. What I'll do is I'll take you along. In fact, let's go along the street a little bit and I'll show you somewhere that's going to explain it a little bit better than I could. Alright guys, we're at Duke Street train station here. Now, across the road we've got the Loudon Tavern, the most famous pub in Scotland, so it says anyway. Right, I'm going to quickly try and explain this to you for anybody that's not Scottish. So, there's two big football teams in Glasgow, one's called Rangers, one's called Celtic. Rangers fans align themselves with Great Britain, the royal family, etc. They like to fly the Union Jack. So this would be a Rangers pub, and when it comes to religion, they would align themselves, well, they would be Protestants in general. Anyway, Celtic fans who, of course if you're Scottish you know all of this, Celtic fans align themselves with Ireland, Catholicism, etc. Now if you want to know more about it, you're going to have to look it up, because it goes way too deep and there's not a chance that I'm going to be able to explain it without making mistakes as well. But anyway, here's another one down here called the Bristol Bar. So this is sort of coming towards the end of the trendy part of Duke Street, and more to, well, in Scotland we say it's a bit rougher. So we got the Bristol Bar down here flying the Union Jack, etc. And we got the Loudon Tavern up here. Right guys, we're going to walk back the way we came, get my car, and we're going to go down. I'll show you the Tennent's factory, and if there's anything else that we pass that I think's interesting, I'll show you. Now you still have, one thing I would say that's interesting, you still have these sort of old, what we'd call an old boozer pub, you know, sort of like still reasonably priced, still all the old team, all the old guys that have been here their whole life still drinking, mixed with the trendy cafes that you're paying £4 for our own bacon for, which I quite like. Now people say that Turkish barbers are just a way to launder money for organised crime. It's not me that said it, but that's what people say. But right next to this trendy little Sweet Jane Bakehouse, the yin and the yang of Dennistoun. get myself that t-shirt actually. Oh, I never actually showed you this place. On the corner of Hillfoot Street, Tebow, the best breakfast. People call it an English breakfast, we call it a Scottish breakfast, obviously, because you get haggis with it and a tatty scone. But Tebow, the best breakfast you'll get in the whole of Glasgow, in my opinion. I love it. Alright guys, I'm going to show you the Tennent's factory, and then I'm going to show you one last thing. I'm going to show you the flat I was living in during COVID, which is in a place called Hag Hill, which is on the outskirts of Dennistoun, and it's not as nice as the other flat I showed you. Let's go. Right guys, we've just drove along the road for about nothing, like a quarter of a mile, something like that. This is the Tennent's factory for where they brew Tennent's lager for 450 years. And there's also a really, I don't know if you can see it, there's like a proper hipster music venue, bar, restaurant called Drygate. Now, this patch of Duke Street, when I first lived here a long time ago, was actually quite desolate. These flats on the left weren't there. None of this was painted or done up. Now we've got a chicken place. But this was actually really dotty if you were walking back. So the city centre starts pretty much just, if you can see, at the end of this street here. Did feel pretty dodgy walking along here, but now it's pretty nice. And by the way, you can do a tour if you're into beers. You can come here and you can do a tour. They take you inside the factory, show you how it's all brewed, etc. And you get some beer on the tour as well. Just pulled over for a second. In there is the necropolis. It's like an old graveyard. And actually, believe it or not, in Glasgow they film a lot of movies and they pretend that it's America. And in there, they filmed the most recent Batman movie. I've never seen it, but I remember when they were filming it about maybe 4 years ago, something like that. So if you've seen the latest Batman movie, it's filmed in there. Alright guys, there we have it. That was my tour of my neighbourhood. Just wanted to show you one last thing. Here we go, Walter Street. This is where I lived during COVID. I can't even remember. I think it was 28. I've sold it now, but it was looking on to this waste ground. But this was a whole derelict school that had been lay empty for years. So imagine that on a rainy day, looking out onto that during COVID for 2 years. No wonder I moved to Russia and started a YouTube channel. Anyway, there was so much more I could have showed you in Dennistoun, but you know, these videos have got to be a certain length. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.